Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, hello, everyone. And thank you so much for being here. I am um, honored to be here. And Jennifer, I just want to acknowledge you for really hearing Spirit's call and fulfilling the need for community here in the Orange County area. And it's so wonderful. And I am overjoyed at the souls that are gathering here tonight. So I just want to invite all of us to close our eyes and let's connect our hearts. Let's just feel into our physical bodies, just taking a nice, slow, deep breath in and just letting go, just releasing, letting go anything that no longer serves you, whether you are consciously aware of that or not. Father, Mother, God, infinite God of all creation, we call our highest selves forward into your love, light, and sound. We ask to be cleared, filled, surrounded, and protected with the clear white light of living love. We ask that any negativity, any imbalance, any distress, discomfort, dis-ease, any contraction, any forgetting, any energy or vibrational frequency that is vibrating at anything less than the frequency of divine loving, we ask that all of that just now be lifted and cleared from our mental, physical, emotional, subconscious, and energetic levels, carried up to the highest realms of light and sound to be transmuted back into the nothingness from whence it came. Into this space, we ask for loving, for grace, for peace, joy, aliveness, creativity, inspiration, abundance, prosperity, material wealth, synergy, alignment, clear hearing, clear seeing, clear sensing, clear knowing, and a clear and apparent connection to the divine. We are so grateful for the opportunity to join our hearts together tonight. We acknowledge and invite in the many angels, teachers, guides, masters, and teachers of light that are guiding each one of us individually and collectively. We are so grateful for the opportunity to come together and the opportunity to be on the planet, shining our light at this time. So be it. With your eyes still closed, I want you to just take note of that inner point of reference, that inner point of peace, that quiet, that calm, that essence that is the true you, the real you, the essential you, the authentic you. That is the you that is underneath the noise, underneath the activity. That is the you that God made. And I want to invite you to open your eyes. I share a lot about understanding the differences between our ego self, our learned self, and our authentic self. And while I'm not going to go into that too much tonight, what I want to share about remembering the love that we are is I want to share about honoring our humanness, because it is our higher self, our authentic self, that has the capacity to honor our human self. And when we are caught up in our human self, in our ego, in our learned behavior, it's hard because we get into so much self-judgment, particularly those of us who are on the spiritual path, right? It's like the longer we've done this work, the more of a license it is sometimes to judge ourselves. And I had an upset a couple of weeks ago that resulted in a really, really profound revelation that I want to share. The cause of the upset was sort of irrelevant to the story, but I really wanted this individual to know how upset I was. And he's in Massachusetts. It's my brother-in-law. And every time I went to text him to let him know how disappointed I was, because he didn't do something that I had been asking him to do for about 4 months. And my final due date like came and went, and it still hadn't happened. And I was really upset. And I really wanted to convey to him how upset I was. But I found that no matter what I did to write him a text message, or even if I thought about calling him, I was unable to do this in a way where I wasn't going to shame him, where I wasn't going to cause harm to him. And so the more I sat with this, the more upset I became with myself, the more inner turmoil and emotional turmoil I was experiencing, not because of what he didn't do, but because I had this inability to express to him the way that I was feeling in a way that wouldn't cause him any harm. So I went and I asked my husband if he would facilitate me, and he listened to me patiently for about 10 minutes, and then he gave me advice. And that was not what I needed, right? So that like activated me even further. I was even more triggered. So it's like 11 o'clock at night, the grass is wet, the moon is full. I go out in the backyard and I just give into it, right? Like I just surrender to how pissed I was, to how angry I was. And I allowed this human emotion to just come through me. I allowed it. I just allowed it. And what I became aware of as I was allowing it was that what was coming through me was not all just mine. It wasn't all just mine. What I was aware of was there's so much debris in the energetic field right now. There's so much upset and turmoil on the planet. And as I allowed these waves to come through me, I knew that this was being processed through me on behalf of the collective. And my professors at the University of Santa Monica, Drs. Ron and Mary Holnick, who really are the pioneers of spiritual psychology, they say that when one person resolves one issue, all of humanity moves forward. So I allowed myself to express this anger, and then I fell to my knees and I wept, I cried, I felt the pain of what is happening across our country right now. And I surrendered to all of it. And as I let go of my perceptual filters, I was left with only loving, right? Because underneath all of the anger and all of the hurt and all of the pain, irregardless of whether it's ours or somebody else's, underneath all of those perceptual filters, we are left with our true essence. And I'm trained in helping other people, facilitating people through their emotional upsets so that they can arrive at this place, which I would call the revelation of our true self, the revelation of the love that we are. And I was so grateful to have the opportunity to do that for myself. So as I let these perceptual filters fall away, I fell into this really profound level of compassion. And my compassion really turned into compassion for humanity, compassion for the human experience, compassion for the journey that we all make, individually, and the journey that we are making collectively. The filters that we wear are many, right? Our physical filters are the earth suits that we walk around in. Those filters maybe are portrayed in the color of our skin or the origin of our ethnicities. But we have mental filters, which are our belief systems. And those belief systems color everything that we see. It's like putting a lens in between our true self and the world as we see it. And then we have emotional filters, which are the real live experiences that we've had and how those filters really color everything. Yet our spiritual nature, our true essence, it's the same for each one of us. It's the energy that connects all of us. And that energy is the energy of loving. It is the energy of loving, of what we know and understand as love. And this energy vibrates at a very high frequency, right? 528 Hzs, 528 hertz, I think is the magic number, if I'm getting that right. All of our perceptual filters are on the spectrum of consciousness with different vibrations, with different frequencies. So when we're caught up in all of our perceptual filters, we are essentially vibrating at these different frequencies. And those frequencies are not at the frequency of love, which is this high place. This high place is a place of openness. It's a place of compassion. It's a place of acceptance, a place of radical acceptance. And those perceptual filters are held in our judgments, in our positionality, in our desire to have our way about the world, right? We want the world to look a certain way. And even all of us in the spiritual community, and, we can be in our righteousness thinking that our way is the high way. It's just a different way, right? It's just a different way. And when we can sit seated in the love that we are, in our higher self, our essential nature, and see the world from that place, then we begin to see through a filter of loving and through hearing, to hear, not to offer our 2 cents or get our opinion in there. So as we continue to rise up, and I assure you, we are going to rise up, because there is a global transformation of consciousness taking place on the planet at this time. And as the Earth's vibration rises and our individual vibration rises, we are essentially burning away everything that is discordant to that higher vibration. So we can really end our suffering a lot quicker by releasing our judgments, by letting go of our position, by knowing that just because we have a preference or an understanding or a way that we like something to be, that if somebody else wants it different, that doesn't have to negate our position or what we think or what we feel. I have this Spirit gave me this beautiful image, this metaphor of like 100 people standing in a circle, and they're all looking at a three-dimensional statue in the middle of the circle. And every single person who looks on that three-dimensional statue sees something different. And so me and the guy across from me, who is Elliot Martinez right now, my direct across on the screen, right? Like, we could argue until the cows come home about what the statue looks like. And we're both right. We're both right. We can come to the top of the triangle and we can meet our hearts together. And we can know in that we are the same. And it doesn't matter what our perceptual filters really look like. So when we drop all that, we're left with the nothingness. And then we remember. We remember the love that we are, the love that connects us all, the love of the oneness. There's a beautiful quote by Rumi, the Persian poet, that he says, out beyond rightness, or out beyond right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. And I think that's just such a nice way to connect our hearts. So through the space that we can begin to see through the filter of love, we can begin to see life through those eyes and hear other people through those ears, and be humbled and in awe of each of the unique, individualized expressions of the divine that we are all as our individual selves, with our personalities and our egos and our preferences, making up the melting pot of humanity. I do a lot of work around the differences between self-love and self-care, and they're vastly different. And so my gift to all of you tonight is you can go to meetingyourselfwithlove.com, and there's a self-assessment there that will give you about 40 ideas of how to really love your sweet self. So I have no idea where we are on time, but that is what I wanted to share with everyone. Thank you so much.
Beautiful, Donna. Thank you. I see lots of, at least lots of applause.